Daddy, you promised we'd have the biggest cake in the whole restaurant. David Romano looked down at his 7-year-old daughter Isabella, her dark curls bouncing as she practically skipped toward the entrance of Chez Laurent, Manhattan's most exclusive restaurant. The maitre d' immediately recognized him, stepping forward with that practiced smile reserved for men who could buy the building twice over. Mr. Romano, your usual table is ready. But David's attention had already shifted. At a corner table near the kitchen doors, a woman sat across from a boy about Isabella's age. One small cupcake, one flickering candle. The woman's plate was completely empty. Isabella tugged at his expensive suit jacket. Daddy, are you listening? I want the chocolate one with... In a minute, princess. His voice carried that edge that made grown men in his organization step back. But watching the woman smile as she sang happy birthday to her son, seeing how she pretended not to notice her own empty stomach, something twisted in his chest. The boy made a wish and blew out the candle. The woman clapped, her joy genuine despite the obvious struggle. Before you hear what David does next, I need you to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this story. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from tonight. I love connecting with all of you. And if this story is grabbing you already, smash that like button, because trust me, you won't believe what happens next. David made a decision that would change 3 lives forever. Isabella, change of plans. He scooped up his daughter and walked directly to the corner table. The woman looked up, her green eyes widening as she recognized him. Everyone in New York knew David Romano's face. Mind if we join you? David asked, already pulling out chairs. Looks like we both have birthday celebrations tonight. The woman, he noticed her hands trembling slightly, started to shake her head. Sir, I don't think... Ana Martinez, right? David's information network was thorough. And this must be Miguel. Happy birthday, son. Anna's face went pale. If he knew their names, he knew everything else. Her 3 jobs, her overdue rent, her desperation. Isabella, oblivious to the tension, immediately started chatting with Miguel about birthday wishes and favorite colors. What do you want? Anna whispered, her voice sharp despite her fear. David signaled the waiter. The full birthday treatment for Miguel, and whatever the lady would like to eat. I said, what do you want? Anna's sarcastic edge surfaced. Men like you don't do charity without expecting something back. David studied her face, the defiance mixed with exhaustion, the way she instinctively moved closer to her son. She knew exactly who he was, what he did, where his money came from. Maybe I just want to watch 2 kids be happy, he said quietly. Anna laughed, but there was no humor in it. Right, the notorious David Romano suddenly growing a conscience on a Tuesday night. The waiter appeared with champagne and menus. Miguel's eyes went wide at the leather-bound book of desserts. One dinner, David said, his dark eyes never leaving Anna's face. No strings, no expectations, just let me do this. Anna looked at her son, saw the wonder in his face as Isabella explained the different cake options. She knew she should grab Miguel and run, should never let a man like David Romano into their lives. But Miguel was laughing, really laughing, for the first time in months. One dinner, she agreed, her voice barely audible. David smiled, and Anna realized she might have just made the biggest mistake of her life. 2 weeks later, Anna was still replaying that night in her mind as she restocked shelves at the corner grocery store. Miguel hadn't stopped talking about Isabella and her cool daddy with the fancy car. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Miguel left his math book at the restaurant. Isabella found it. Can we return it? D. Anna stared at the text. David Romano had her phone number. Of course he did. Leave it at the front desk of Isabella's school. I'll pick it up. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Isabella wants to give it back personally. She says they're friends now. Anna glanced at her supervisor, who was giving her dirty looks for being on her phone. She needed this job, couldn't afford any mistakes. I work until 9, no time for playdates with the Mafia. Her phone rang immediately. David's voice was calm, controlled. It's not a playdate, and I prefer legitimate businessmen. Right, that's why you carry a gun to dinner at fancy restaurants. There was a pause. You're very observant. I'm very careful. Men like you are dangerous to people like me. Anna, the way he said her name made something flutter in her chest, which only made her angrier. 1 math book, 5 minutes. Isabella's been asking about Miguel every day. Anna rubbed her temples. Miguel had been asking about Isabella too, wondering why they couldn't be friends with the nice man who bought them cake. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. The playground on East 85th. 5 minutes, then you disappear from our lives. Deal. But Anna knew, even as she hung up, that David Romano wasn't the type of man who disappeared easily. The next afternoon, she watched from across the street as a black SUV pulled up to the playground. David got out first, scanning the area with those sharp eyes, then helped Isabella out. Even in casual clothes, jeans and a sweater, he looked dangerous, like a predator pretending to be domesticated. Miguel had been bouncing with excitement since she told him about getting his book back. Now he raced toward Isabella, the two kids embracing like old friends. Anna approached cautiously. David was sitting on a bench, looking oddly out of place among the other parents. "Here's your book, Miguel." Isabella held it out proudly. "I drew you a picture inside." Miguel flipped to the drawing. Stick figures of the four of them around a birthday cake. Anna's throat tightened. "Can we play on the swings?" Isabella asked, looking between the adults. 5 minutes, Anna said firmly. As the kids ran off, David patted the bench beside him. "Sit. You look tired." "I work 3 jobs. Tired is my natural state." But she sat down, keeping distance between them. 3 jobs and raising a son alone. That's impressive. It's survival. Anna watched Miguel push Isabella on the swing, both kids laughing. "Don't pretend to understand my life." "My wife died when Isabella was 3, David said quietly. "Car bomb meant for me, so don't pretend I don't understand loss." Anna turned to look at him properly for the first time, saw the grief he kept buried under all that control and power. "I'm sorry," she said, meaning it, "but that doesn't change what you are." "What am I?" "A man who solves problems with violence, a man whose enemies target innocent people, a man whose money is built on other people's suffering." David was quiet for a long moment. "You're not wrong." His honesty surprised her. Most men would have argued, made excuses. "So why are you here?" she asked. David watched Isabella help Miguel climb higher on the jungle gym. "Because for the first time in 4 years, my daughter is acting like a normal kid. Because watching her with Miguel reminds me there's still good in the world." "And what do you want from me?" David looked at her then, and Anna saw something raw in his expression. "I don't know yet." The kids came running back, cheeks flushed and happy. "Can Miguel come to my house sometime?" Isabella asked. "I have the coolest dollhouse and we could—" "That's not possible, sweetheart," Anna interrupted gently. Isabella's face fell. Miguel looked confused. David stood up. "Maybe we could all go somewhere neutral, the zoo, the museum." "Daddy, yes, please." Isabella grabbed his hand. Anna felt the weight of 2 sets of pleading eyes. "I have to work." "Saturday," David said. "I'll pick you up, make it worth your time financially." "I don't want your money." "Then do it for him." David nodded toward Miguel, who was looking at Isabella with pure hope. Anna closed her eyes. She was about to make another mistake. She could feel it. "Saturday," she whispered. "But this doesn't make us friends." David's smile was slow and dangerous. "Of course not." As they walked away, Anna realized she was looking forward to Saturday more than she wanted to admit. Saturday arrived with rain that threatened to cancel everything. Anna stood at her apartment window, watching droplets race down the glass, hoping the weather would give her an excuse to back out. Miguel had tried on 3 different outfits, finally settling on his best jeans and a Superman t-shirt. "Do you think Isabella will like the zoo even if it's raining, Mom?" "I don't know, baby." Anna smoothed his hair. "We might have to postpone." Her phone buzzed. David, of course. "Rain or shine, I have a backup plan. Trust me." "I don't trust you." "That's the point. Trust me today, just today." When the black SUV pulled up, Anna grabbed Miguel's hand and hurried downstairs. David was waiting outside the car with an umbrella, looking entirely too good in dark jeans and a leather jacket. "Where are we really going?" Anna asked, as he helped Miguel into the car seat he'd apparently purchased just for this occasion. "You'll see." David held the umbrella over her as she got in. "Sometimes the best plans are the ones you don't overthink." They drove through Manhattan, while Miguel and Isabella chattered excitedly in the back. Anna tried not to notice how David's hands looked on the steering wheel, or how he checked the mirrors more frequently than a normal person would. "Relax," he said quietly. "No one followed us." "How can you tell?" 20 years of staying alive in my business. You learn to notice things." They pulled up to a massive warehouse in Brooklyn. Anna tensed. "David, if this is some kind of—" "Mom, look!" Miguel's voice was full of wonder. Through the warehouse windows, Anna could see lights, movement, color. David led them through an entrance where a woman in a uniform greeted them warmly. "Mr. Romano," Everything's ready as requested. They walked inside, and Anna's breath caught. The warehouse had been transformed into a private indoor carnival. Game booths, a small Ferris wheel, cotton candy machines, even a miniature train that circled the space. "How did you—" Anna started. "I made some calls." David was watching the kids' faces, both children speechless with amazement. "Sometimes you need a plan B." Isabella grabbed Miguel's hand. "Come on, let's try everything." As the kids ran toward the games, Anna turned to David. "This must have cost a fortune." "Money well spent." He guided her toward a bench where they could watch the kids. "See Isabella's face. I haven't seen her smile like that since before her mother died." Anna studied his profile. "Why is that so important to you?" "Because I'm the reason she lost her mother. I'm the reason she has nightmares. I'm the reason she flinches when cars backfire." David's jaw tightened. "If I can give her one perfect day, maybe it balances the scales a little." Anna felt something shift inside her chest. This wasn't the cold Mafia boss everyone feared. This was a father drowning in guilt, trying to save his daughter from his own choices. "The nightmares will fade," she said softly. "Kids are resilient." "Are they? Miguel lost his father too, right? How's he handling it?" Anna stiffened. "How do you—" "I told you I made calls." David's voice was gentle. "Carlos died in Afghanistan 3 years ago." "Don't." Anna stood up. "Don't dig into our lives. Don't pretend to know our pain." David caught her wrist gently. "I'm not pretending anything. I'm saying we both know what it's like to raise a child alone. We both know what it's like to see them hurt and not be able to fix it." Anna looked down at his hand on her wrist. She should pull away, should be angry. Instead, she felt understood for the first time in years. "Daddy, Mom, come play." Isabella was calling from a ring toss game. They spent the next 3 hours moving through the carnival. David won Miguel a giant stuffed dinosaur. Anna shocked everyone by nailing every target at the basketball game. The kids rode the train 6 times, insisted the adults join them for cotton candy, and begged to try the Ferris wheel. "I don't like heights," Anna admitted as they climbed into the small car. "I've got you," David said, and something in his voice made Anna believe him. As they rose slowly above the warehouse floor, watching their children wave from below, Anna realized how long it had been since she'd felt safe. Really, truly safe. "This can't happen again," she said quietly. "Why not?" "Because I'm starting to like you, and liking you is dangerous." David turned to face her fully. "Maybe danger isn't always a bad thing." The Ferris wheel stopped with them at the top. Below, Miguel and Isabella were playing with the stuffed animals they'd won, completely content. "Anna," David said, his voice rougher than usual, "what if I told you I'm tired of being dangerous? What if I told you that watching you with Miguel makes me want to be different?" Anna met his eyes. "I'd say that men like you don't change. I'd say that good intentions don't stop bullets. I'd say that caring about you would be the stupidest thing I could do. And what if I said I'm falling for you anyway?" The wheel started moving again, bringing them back to earth. Anna didn't answer, but her silence said everything. As they prepared to leave, Miguel hugged Isabella goodbye, both kids making plans they knew their parents might not allow. In the car, Anna stared out the window. "Thank you. For today." Miguel needed this. "What do you need, Anna?" She looked at him then, saw the genuine question in his eyes. "I need you to stay away from us." "Is that really what you want?" Anna thought about the way he'd looked at her on the Ferris wheel, the way he'd been gentle with Miguel, the way Isabella clearly adored him despite everything. "No," she whispered, "but it's what we need." David pulled up to her building. As Anna helped Miguel out of the car, David caught her hand. "I meant what I said up there about changing. People don't change." "David, not really." But even as she said it, Anna wasn't sure she believed it anymore. 3 days later, Anna was wiping down tables at the diner where she worked her evening shift when David walked in. He looked completely out of place among the cracked vinyl booths and flickering fluorescent lights, but he slid into a corner table like he belonged. Anna's heart started racing. "We're closed. Sign says open until midnight. It's 11:30. David held up a menu. "I'll have coffee and whatever pie you recommend." "David, you can't just—" "I'm a customer, Anna. You can't exactly throw me out without causing a scene." Anna glanced toward the kitchen where her manager was counting the till. He'd fire her in a heartbeat if she caused trouble with a customer, especially one who looked like he could buy the place. She grabbed the coffee pot, her hand shaking slightly as she poured his cup. "What do you want?" "Apple pie," And to talk. We talked on Saturday. No, you made a speech about why we can't see each other again, then disappeared into your apartment building like Cinderella at midnight. Anna set down the coffee pot harder than necessary. That wasn't a speech. That was common sense. David tasted his coffee, made a face. This is terrible. It's a diner, not Starbucks. You want gourmet? There's a cafe on Fifth Avenue. I want to be where you are. The quiet intensity in his voice made Anna's stomach flip. She busied herself, wiping down the already clean counter. Why? Because I can't stop thinking about you. Because when I'm with you, I remember what it feels like to be normal. Because my daughter asks about Miguel every day, and I see hope in her eyes for the first time in years. So this is about Isabella? This is about all of us. David leaned forward. Anna, what if there was a way? What if I could step back from the business, change things? Anna laughed, but it came out bitter. Men like you don't retire, David. They die. Some do. The smart ones find an exit strategy. And you're smart enough? I'm motivated enough. His dark eyes never left her face. Question is, are you brave enough? Before Anna could respond, the bell over the door chimed. 2 men in expensive suits walked in, their eyes immediately scanning the room until they found David. Anna felt the temperature in the diner drop 10 degrees. David didn't turn around, but his entire posture changed. The relaxed man who'd been flirting with her disappeared, replaced by someone harder, more dangerous. Boss, one of the men said quietly, we've been looking for you. I'm having pie, Marco. It can wait. No, sir, it can't. The Torino situation needs your immediate attention. Anna saw David's jaw clench. In the harsh diner lighting, she could suddenly see the man everyone feared, the one who made decisions that affected people's lives with a phone call. 5 minutes, David said without looking at them. The men retreated to a table near the door, but Anna could feel their eyes watching everything. I should go, David said, standing up. He left a $100 bill on the table. For the coffee. David, he paused, looking back at her. I meant what I said about changing, and I meant what I said about being brave enough. Something passed between them, a understanding that this moment mattered more than either wanted to admit. After they left, Anna stared at the $100 bill. Her manager would assume it was a mistake, try to chase down the customer. She folded it carefully and put it in her apron pocket. Her phone buzzed. David. I'm sorry about that. It's not usually so obvious. Your world is always obvious. David. Some of us just pretend not to see it. Have dinner with me somewhere private, just us. Anna stared at the message for a full minute. I can't. Can't or won't. What's the difference? One's about fear. One's about choice. Anna turned off her phone without responding. The next morning, she was getting Miguel ready for school when someone knocked on her door. She peered through the peephole, expecting David. Instead, she saw Isabella, holding an envelope. Anna opened the door quickly. Isabella, sweetheart, where's your father? In the car downstairs. He said to give you this and ask if Miguel wants to walk to school with me. We go to the same one now. Anna took the envelope, her hands trembling. Since when do you go to Miguel's school? Isabella shrugged with 7-year-old logic. Since yesterday. Daddy said it was closer to his work. Miguel appeared behind Anna, backpack on, eyes lighting up when he saw Isabella. Mom, can I walk with Isabella, please? Anna looked at the envelope in her hands, then at 2 hopeful children. Through her window, she could see David's SUV parked across the street. Get your jacket, Miguel. As the kids raced down the stairs, Anna opened the envelope. Inside was a key and a note in David's handwriting. If you change your mind about dinner, tomorrow night 8 p.m. the address is on the key tag. Just us. No business, no interruptions. Just a chance to see who we might be together. Anna looked out her window again. David was leaning against his car, watching their children walk to school together, both kids chattering and laughing. He looked up at her window and raised his hand in a small wave. Anna waved back before she could stop herself. That evening, she found herself standing in front of her bedroom mirror, holding the key and wondering if she was about to make the best or worst decision of her life. Her reflection didn't have any answers, but her heart was already made up. The address on the key led Anna to a brownstone on the Upper East Side. Nothing flashy, nothing that screamed money or danger, just a quiet street with tree-lined sidewalks and the kind of understated elegance that cost more than most people made in a year. Anna stood on the steps for 5 minutes before using the key. The door opened into a living room that looked like someone actually lived there. Books on the shelves, A pair of Isabella's sneakers by the door, family photos mixed with expensive art. This wasn't one of David's properties, this was his home. You came. David appeared from what looked like the kitchen, wearing jeans and a simple black sweater. Without the suits and business facade, he looked younger, more approachable. I almost didn't. Anna set down her purse, suddenly self-conscious in her best dress, a simple blue number she'd bought for job interviews and never had reason to wear. You look beautiful. This was probably a mistake. Probably, David smiled. But you're here anyway. The kitchen smelled like garlic and herbs. David had actually cooked pasta with homemade sauce, salad, bread that was still warm from the oven. You made this yourself? Anna asked, accepting a glass of wine. I learned when Isabella was younger. After Maria died, I realized I could either learn to cook or feed my daughter takeout forever. They sat at a small table overlooking a garden. Normal, domestic, nothing like what Anna had expected. Where's Isabella tonight? Sleep over at my sister's. First time I've trusted anyone else with her overnight since... David paused. Well, in a long time. Anna tasted the pasta. It was incredible. This is really good. Don't sound so surprised. I am surprised. I figured men like you had people for everything. I have people for business, but family. David set down his fork. Some things you don't delegate. They ate in comfortable silence for a while. Anna kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, for the evening to reveal itself as something other than what it appeared to be. Tell me about Carlos, David said finally. Anna stiffened. Why? Because he was important to Miguel. Because understanding him helps me understand you. Anna took a sip of wine, considering. He was a good man, enlisted because he wanted to serve something bigger than himself. He was funny, kind, completely hopeless with money. How long were you together? 6 years. Married for 4. Anna twisted her wedding ring, which she still wore. He used to say I was the practical one and he was the dreamer. We balanced each other. Do you still love him? The question was quiet, but Anna heard the weight behind it. I'll always love him, but missing someone and being stuck in the past are different things. She met David's eyes. What about Maria? Arranged marriage originally. Our families thought it would be good for business. David's expression grew distant. But we actually fell in love. She was the one person who could tell me I was being an idiot and get away with it. Do you blame yourself for her death? Every day. Anna reached across the table and touched his hand. That's not living, David. That's just surviving. Is that what you've been doing? Surviving. Anna considered this. For 3 years, yes, until recently. What changed recently? You. The admission slipped out before she could stop it. David turned his hand palm up, threading their fingers together. Anna, I know what I'm asking. I know the risks. But I also know that what I feel for you is real. What do you feel? Like I'm waking up after years of sleepwalking. Like maybe there's still a chance for happiness. David's thumb traced over her knuckles. Like I want to be the man you and Miguel deserve. Anna felt tears threatening. And if you can't, if the business won't let you go, then I'll find a way. Because losing you before I even really have you isn't an option. They moved to the living room after dinner. David built a fire while Anna examined the family photos. Isabella as a baby, formal shots of David with a beautiful woman who must have been Maria, candid moments that showed a side of David the world never saw. She was lovely, Anna said, studying a photo of Maria laughing. She would have liked you. She always said I needed someone who wouldn't be impressed by the money or intimidated by the power. Smart woman, the smartest. David sat beside her on the couch. Anna, I need you to know something. Tonight, here with you, this is who I want to be. Not the man in those suits making those calls. This, Anna looked around the room at the comfortable space he'd created for his daughter, at the evidence of a man trying to build something good from something complicated. What happens next? She asked. Honestly, I don't know, but I know I want to find out with you. When David kissed her, it was gentle, questioning. Anna could have pulled away, could have ended this before it truly began. Instead, she kissed him back. Later, as they sat curled together on the couch, Anna's head on David's shoulder, she felt something she hadn't experienced in years. Possibility. I should go, she whispered, though she didn't move. Stay. David's arm tightened around her. Just until morning. Let me pretend just for one night that this is normal. Anna closed her eyes, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat beneath her cheek. One night, she agreed. But they both knew it wouldn't be just one night. They'd already crossed a line, and there was no going back. Outside, the city continued its restless dance, unaware that in a quiet brownstone, two damaged people were finding their way towards something that might save them both, or destroy them completely. Anna woke up in David's arms, with sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows. For a moment, she let herself enjoy the feeling of safety, of being held by someone who cared about her. Then, reality crashed back. "Good morning," David murmured against her hair. "This can't happen again." But Anna didn't move away from the warmth of his embrace. "You said that yesterday and the day before that." David's voice held amusement. "Yet here you are." Anna finally pulled back to look at him. In the morning light, she could see faint scars along his jaw, evidence of a life she didn't want to think about. "David, I need to know something. Anything. Are you really trying to get out? Or is this all just words to get me into bed?" David's expression grew serious. He sat up, running a hand through his dark hair. "Anna, I've been building an exit strategy for months, even before I met you. Maria's death was a wake-up call that I couldn't ignore forever." "What does that mean exactly?" David got up, pulled on his jeans and walked to a desk in the corner. He returned with a folder. "It means I've been transferring legitimate businesses into Isabella's name. Real estate, restaurants, construction companies that operate completely above board." He opened the folder, showing her legal documents. "It means I've been setting up trusts and investments that will take care of her forever." Anna studied the papers. "And the other businesses? I'm selling my interests to my partners. Gradually, quietly, but definitively. They're okay with that?" David's jaw tightened. "Some are. Others, that's why it has to be handled carefully." Before Anna could respond, David's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID and frowned. "I have to take this." "David, we had a deal, no interruptions." "Boss?" David answered, his voice immediately shifting to business mode. Anna watched his face change as he listened. "When? How many?" "No, I'll handle it personally." He hung up and was already reaching for his shirt. "You have to leave," Anna said. It wasn't a question. "Anna, I'm sorry." "Don't." She stood up, grabbing her dress. "Just don't. This is exactly what I'm trying to get away from. But you haven't yet, have you?" Anna's voice was sharp with disappointment. "You're still the man who gets calls at 7 a.m. about things that require handling personally." David caught her hand as she tried to walk past him. "Give me 6 months." 6 months for what? "To make this clean, to make it safe for you and Miguel and Isabella." His grip was gentle but insistent. "Anna, what we have is worth fighting for." Anna looked at their joined hands. "What if 6 months isn't enough? What if they don't let you go? Then I'll make sure you and Miguel are protected. Set up somewhere safe, somewhere far from my world." "You mean you'd disappear from our lives?" "If that's what it takes to keep you safe." Anna pulled her hand free. "That's not protecting us, David. That's abandoning us." She finished dressing in silence while David made coffee. They both knew she wouldn't drink. "Anna," he said as she reached the door, "I love you." She turned, seeing the vulnerability in his eyes that he only showed to her. "I love you too," she whispered. "That's what makes this so hard." An hour later, Anna was back in her apartment, trying to pretend the night had never happened. Miguel bounced in from his friend's sleepover, full of stories about movies and popcorn. "Mom, can Isabella come over today, please? We want to work on our science project together." Anna's heart clenched. "Maybe another time, baby." "But Mom, we're partners. Mrs. Rodriguez assigned us together because we're friends." Anna stared at her son. "Since when are you partners with Isabella?" "Since she started at our school, don't you remember? Her dad enrolled her so we could be in the same class." The pieces clicked into place. David hadn't just enrolled Isabella in Miguel's school to be closer to his work. He'd orchestrated it so their children would have a reason to spend time together. So Anna would have a reason to keep seeing him. Her phone buzzed. "David, I know you're angry. I know I messed up this morning. But Isabella and Miguel really do have a project due Monday. Can we talk about this like the adults we are?" Anna stared at the message, torn between admiration for his strategy and annoyance at being outmaneuvered. "Fine, 1 hour, your place, but just for the kids." "Thank you, and Anna, I meant what I said this morning, all of it." 2 hours later, Anna sat in David's kitchen while the kids worked on their science project in the living room. David moved around the kitchen with easy confidence, making lunch for everyone. "You planned this," Anna said. "The school, the project partnership, all of it." "I planned Isabella changing schools. The partnership was pure luck." David glanced at her. "Though I admit, when it happened, I saw an opportunity to manipulate me into spending time with you, to give us a reason to be in each other's lives that has nothing to do with romance or danger. David set a sandwich in front of her. Anna, regardless of what happens between us, our kids are friends, real friends. Isabella talks about Miguel constantly. She's never had that before. Anna watched through the doorway as Isabella patiently helped Miguel measure something for their volcano model. The little girl was gentle, encouraging, clearly protective of Miguel. She's good with him, Anna admitted. He's good for her too. Before Miguel, Isabella was scared of everything. Now she laughs again. They ate in silence, both aware of the children's chatter in the next room, both thinking about futures that might or might not be possible. David, Anna said finally, if you do this, if you really get out, what happens to us? We find out if what we have can survive in daylight. And if you can't get out? David was quiet for a long moment. Then I make the hardest choice of my life. Anna didn't ask what choice he meant. She was afraid she already knew. 3 weeks passed in a careful dance of normal life mixed with constant tension. Anna worked her shifts, David conducted his business, and their children completed their science project, which won second place in the school fair. Anna tried to pretend that David's flowers arriving at the diner every Tuesday didn't make her heart race. She tried to ignore the way he looked at her. During the parent meetings they both now attended at Isabella and Miguel's school, but she couldn't ignore the black SUV that had started parking across from her apartment building. David, there are men watching my building, she said when she finally called him. I know, they're mine. What? Protection detail, just until some business gets resolved. Anna sank onto her couch. What kind of business? The kind you don't want details about. Anna, I promise you're safe, but I need to know where you are right now. I'm home with Miguel. Why? Stay there. I'm sending someone to pick up groceries for you. Don't go out tonight. David, you're scaring me. Good. Fear keeps you alive. His voice gentled. Anna, I'm handling this, but I need you to trust me and follow my instructions. That night, Anna paced her apartment while Miguel did homework, oblivious to the tension. Every car that drove by made her heart jump. Every footstep in the hallway made her check the locks. Her phone rang at 11 p.m. It's handled, David said without preamble. What was handled? A disagreement with some business partners. It's resolved now. Anna laughed, but there was no humor in it. A disagreement. That required armed guards watching my son. Anna. No, David. Just no. Anna's voice was shaking. I can't live like this. Miguel can't live like this. It was one night. It was a preview of our future if we stay together. Of Miguel growing up scared. Of me never knowing if you're coming home. Of Isabella losing another parent to your world. David was quiet for so long, Anna thought he'd hung up. What are you saying? He asked finally. I'm saying, maybe it's time to be realistic about what we are. What we are is two people in love. What we are is impossible. Anna wiped tears she didn't want to acknowledge. David, I've been thinking about this for weeks. Even if you get out of the business, will you really be out? Will there ever be a day when someone doesn't recognize your face, your name? Will there ever be a time when Isabella doesn't have to worry about who her father used to be? I don't know, David said honestly. And that's the problem. The next morning, Anna was surprised to find Isabella at her door instead of Miguel meeting her at David's car for the school walk. Daddy's sick, Isabella announced. He said I should walk with you and Miguel today. Anna looked past Isabella, but David's SUV was nowhere to be seen. Something cold settled in her stomach. At school, Anna pulled Mrs. Rodriguez aside. Has Mr. Romano mentioned anything about Isabella's pickup arrangements today? Actually, yes. He called this morning and said Isabella would be staying late for the after-school program and that you'd be picking her up. Anna's heart started racing. David hadn't mentioned anything about after-school programs. She called his phone, straight to voicemail. By 3 o'clock, Anna was in full panic mode. She picked up both children from school and took them back to her apartment, trying to keep the fear out of her voice, as she called David's number repeatedly. At 5 p.m. there was a knock at her door. Anna looked through the peephole and saw a woman she didn't recognize, middle-aged, well-dressed with kind eyes. Ms. Martinez, I'm David's sister, Catherine. May I come in? Anna opened the door cautiously. Where is David? He's dealing with some complications. He asked me to check on Isabella and to give you this. Catherine handed Anna an envelope with her name on it in David's handwriting. Is he hurt? Anna asked, her voice barely a whisper. He's alive. Catherine said carefully. But Anna, you need to read that letter, and you need to decide what you want to do. Anna's hands shook as she opened the envelope. David's handwriting was messier than usual, as if written in a hurry. Anna, by the time you read this, I'll be handling a situation that could put you and Miguel in danger if I stay close to you. My sister Catherine will explain what needs to happen next. I need you to know that everything I told you about loving you was true. Everything I promised about changing was real. But right now, keeping you safe matters more than keeping you close. Trust Catherine, trust my instructions, and know that if there was any other way, I would take it. D. Anna looked up at Catherine, tears blurring her vision. What instructions? Catherine's expression was sympathetic but firm. Pack a bag for you and Miguel tonight. We're taking you somewhere safe until this gets resolved. For how long? I don't know. Anna looked at Miguel and Isabella, both kids playing quietly in the corner, unaware that their world was about to change again. What if I say no? Catherine's smile was sad but understanding. Then my brother will never forgive himself when something happens to you. Anna closed the letter, her hands steady now despite the tears. Give me an hour to pack. The safe house was a cottage in the Hamptons, far enough from the city to feel isolated, but comfortable enough for 2 adults and 2 confused children. Catherine explained that it belonged to the family, completely legal and clean, used for legitimate vacations. How long have you known? Anna asked as they settled in that first night. About you? Since the night David came home from that dinner covered in cake frosting and smiling for the first time in years. Catherine made tea, while the kids explored the beach outside. About David trying to get out of the business, since Maria's funeral. You think he can actually do it? Catherine considered this. My brother is stubborn and smart and absolutely ruthless when he wants something. If anyone can navigate an exit from this life, it's him. And if he can't, then you'll have to decide if loving him is worth the risks. They fell into a routine over the next few days. Anna worked remotely from her laptop. Catherine helped with the children, and they all pretended this was a normal vacation. Miguel and Isabella adapted with the resilience of children, treating it as an adventure. But Anna could see the worry in Isabella's eyes when she thought no one was looking. On the 4th day, David called. Are you safe? His voice sounded exhausted. We're fine, the kids are fine, Catherine's been wonderful. Anna stepped onto the deck where she could speak privately. David, what's happening? I can't give you details over the phone. But Anna, it's almost over. A few more days, maybe a week. And then what? Then I keep my promises to you. What if... Anna, David's voice was firm. I'm coming home to you. All of you, that's not a maybe, that's a fact. That night Anna lay awake listening to the ocean, wondering if she was being naive to believe him. On the 7th day, Catherine's phone rang at dawn. Anna watched her face change as she listened, then saw her shoulders sag with relief. It's over, Catherine announced. David's coming to get you. 3 hours later, Anna heard a car in the driveway. Through the window, she watched David get out of his SUV, moving carefully like someone who was hurt, but trying not to show it. Isabella ran to him before Anna could stop her, and Anna's heart clenched as she watched David pick up his daughter with obvious pain. Daddy, are you okay? Your face is hurt. David had a cut on his cheek and bruising around his left eye, but his smile was genuine. I'm perfect now, Princess. Miguel hung back, suddenly shy, but David held out his free arm. Come here, buddy. I missed you too. Anna waited until the children went inside to explore before approaching David. How bad was it? She asked quietly. Bad enough. David's voice was rough. But it's finished, Anna. Really finished. What does that mean? It means I signed over my last business interest this morning. It means the lawyers filed the final paperwork an hour ago. It means I'm officially out. Anna studied his face, looking for signs that he was lying or being overly optimistic. And they just let you go? They let me go because I made it worth their while, and because I gave them something they wanted more than my continued involvement. What did you give them? David's expression darkened. Information that ensures they won't come looking for me or mine. Ever. Anna realized she didn't want to know the details. Some things were better left in David's past. So what happens now? She asked. Now we go home. All of us. David reached for her hand. Anna, I know this week was hell. I know asking you to trust me and disappear was unfair, but I need you to know that everything I did was to protect you and Miguel. I know. Anna looked at their joined hands. David, when you said all of us go home, I meant what I think you hope I meant. David's smile was soft. Ana Martinez, Will you and Miguel come live with Isabella and me? Will you let me try to be the man you both deserve? Through the cottage windows, Ana could see Miguel and Isabella building something elaborate with Isabella's travel blocks, working together with the easy partnership they'd developed. Miguel would love that, Ana said. What about Miguel's mother? Ana looked at David, really looked at him, saw the man who'd protected her children even when it meant putting himself in danger, saw the father who'd uprooted his entire life to give his daughter a chance at normalcy, saw the person who'd walked away from everything he'd ever known because he loved her. Miguel's mother is terrified, she said honestly, but she's also tired of being scared, and she's completely in love with a man who just proved he'd do anything to keep her safe. David kissed her then, gentle and sweet and full of promises. No more business calls during dinner, he murmured against her lips. No more running away when things get complicated. Deal. Behind them, Isabella's voice called out, "Daddy, Miguel wants to know if we can have pancakes." "Sounds like we're being summoned," David said. "Sounds like we're going home," Ana replied. As they walked back toward the cottage, toward their children and their future, Ana realized that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is take a chance on love, and sometimes it's the only thing worth doing. Moving in together was both easier and harder than Ana had expected. Easier because Miguel and Isabella treated it like the world's longest play date. Harder because Ana kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. "You're doing it again," David said, finding her standing in the kitchen at midnight, staring out at the garden. "Doing what?" "Waiting for disaster." He wrapped his arms around her from behind. "Ana, we're safe. This is real. I know that up here." Ana tapped her temple. "But convincing the rest of me is taking longer." It had been 2 months since they'd moved into David's brownstone. Their brownstone now, he insisted. 2 months of school pickups and family dinners and bedtime stories read to both children. 2 months of David working exclusively with his legitimate businesses, coming home at reasonable hours, being present in a way Ana had never quite believed was possible. "Talk to me," David said, turning her in his arms. "Mrs. Patterson asked me if we're planning to get married." David's eyebrows rose. "Mrs. Patterson from the PTA? She said the kids have been telling everyone they're brother and sister now." Ana smiled despite her worries. "Apparently Isabella informed her entire second-grade class that Miguel is her family and they all live together like a real family." "And what did you tell Mrs. Patterson?" "That it was complicated." David was quiet for a moment. "Is it? Complicated?" Ana looked at him. This man who'd turned his entire world upside down for her and Miguel. "David, are you asking me to marry you?" "I'm asking if you'd say yes if I did." Anna's heart started racing. "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you're asking because you think we should or because you can't imagine your life without us." David cupped her face in his hands. "Ana, I haven't been able to imagine my life without you since that first night in the restaurant. You and Miguel aren't just part of my life, you are my life." Before Ana could respond, they heard footsteps on the stairs. Isabella appeared in her pajamas, looking worried. "Daddy, I had the bad dream again." David immediately went to her, scooping her up. "The same one, Princess." Isabella nodded, burying her face against his shoulder. Anna's heart ached as she realized Isabella was still carrying trauma from her mother's death, from the violence that had shaped her early years. "Can Miguel and I sleep in your room tonight?" Isabella asked. "Like when we have sleepovers?" Ana and David exchanged glances. They'd been careful about boundaries, about not rushing the physical aspects of their relationship with the children in the house. "Just tonight," David said gently. An hour later, Ana lay in David's bed with Isabella curled against her side, and Miguel sprawled across the foot of the bed. David's arm was around all three of them, and Ana had never felt so safe. "Ana?" Isabella's voice was small in the darkness. "Yes, sweetheart. Are you going to be my mom now?" Ana felt David tense beside her. This was the conversation they'd been avoiding, the question that complicated everything. "I'm going to love you like you're my daughter," Ana said carefully. "Always, no matter what happens. But you're not my real mom." "Your real mom loved you very much," Ana said, thinking of the photos throughout the house, the woman whose place she was somehow filling. "And she always will. But families can grow, and love can grow too. Like how Miguel's not Daddy's real son, but Daddy loves him anyway?" Ana glanced at David, saw the emotion in his eyes as he listened to his daughter work through the complicated mathematics of their blended family. "Exactly like that," David said softly. "Good." Isabella snuggled closer to Ana. "Because I want you to be my mum, and I want Miguel to be my brother forever." The next morning, Anna woke up to find David already awake, watching their children sleep. "She's right, you know," he said quietly, "about wanting you to be her mom forever." "David, marry me, Anna." The words were simple, but they carried the weight of everything they'd been through together. "Right now," Anna whispered, not wanting to wake the children. "Right now, today, tomorrow, whenever you're ready." David's voice was gentle but certain. "I love you. Isabella loves you. Miguel loves me. We're already a family in every way that matters." Anna looked at Isabella sleeping peacefully against her side, at Miguel with his arm thrown protectively over both of them, at David watching them all with such tenderness. "Yes," she whispered, "yes. Yes, I'll marry you. Yes, I want Isabella to be my daughter legally and officially. Yes, I want Miguel to have you as his father. Yes to all of it." David kissed her then, soft and sweet, careful not to wake their children. "When?" he asked. "Soon, but David, anything. I want it to be about us, about our family. Nothing big or flashy or—" "Anna," David smiled, "I just want to marry you. Everything else is just details." Later that morning, while they made breakfast together and the children argued over which cartoon to watch, Anna realized that this was what happiness looked like. Messy and loud and completely ordinary, and absolutely perfect. "Daddy," Isabella said as she poured syrup on her pancakes, "when you and Anna get married, can I be the flower girl?" Anna and David stared at their daughter. "How did you—" David started. "I heard you talking last night." Isabella grinned. "Miguel, we're going to be real brother and sister." Miguel looked up from his pancakes, syrup on his chin. "Does that mean I can call David Dad?" Anna felt tears threatening as she looked at David's face. "If you want to," David said, his voice thick with emotion. "I'd be honored." "Cool. Dad, can we have chocolate chip pancakes tomorrow?" And just like that, they were a family. Anna should have known it was too good to last. She was picking up Isabella and Miguel from school when she noticed the black sedan parked across the street, different from David's usual security detail, which she'd grown used to recognizing. "Ana Martinez." She turned to find a woman in a federal agent's badge approaching her. "Agent Sarah Chen, FBI. We need to talk." Anna's blood ran cold. "About what?" "About David Romano. About his connections to organized crime. About the fact that you're living with a known criminal." "Former criminal," Anna said carefully. "David left that life behind." Agent Chen's smile was cold. "Ms. Martinez, David Romano doesn't get to just walk away from 20 years in organized crime because he fell in love. We need your cooperation." Anna glanced toward the school, where Isabella and Miguel were walking toward them, backpacks bouncing. "Not here. Not in front of the children." Agent Chen handed her a card. "Coffee shop on Madison Avenue, 1 hour. Come alone, or we'll have this conversation at your home tonight." As Anna drove the children home, her hands shaking on the steering wheel, Isabella chatted about her day while Miguel worked on homework in the back seat. Normal life, while Anna's world crumbled around her. David was in his office when they arrived, on a call about one of his legitimate businesses. Anna managed to smile and nod at the right moments as the children told him about their day, but her mind was racing. "Anna, you okay?" David asked after the kids went upstairs to play. "Fine, just tired." David studied her face. "What happened?" Anna realized she'd never been able to hide anything from him. "David, if someone from your past came looking for you, would you know about it?" David's entire body tensed. "What kind of someone?" "The federal kind." David closed his eyes, and Anna saw him aged 10 years in that moment. "What did they want?" he asked. Anna told him about Agent Chen, about the demand for cooperation, about the threat to come to their home. "I have to go meet her in 20 minutes, Anna finished. "No." David's voice was flat. "Absolutely not." "David, if I don't—" "Anna, listen to me. The moment you start talking to federal agents about me, about us, you become a target, not just from law enforcement, but from anyone who thinks you might know something that could hurt them. Then what do I do?" David was already reaching for his phone. "You let me handle this." "By doing what?" "By calling my lawyer and making sure Agent Chen understands that any harassment of my family will result in a very expensive lawsuit." Anna watched David make the call, speaking in clipped professional tones about federal overreach and illegal intimidation tactics. When he hung up, he looked calmer. "Richard will meet with Agent Chen tomorrow. He'll explain that I've been fully cooperative with all federal investigations, that I'm completely out of any questionable business dealings." and that any further contact should go through him. Will that work? It should. Anna, I've been clean for months. My lawyers have documented everything. There's nothing for them to find. But that night, Anna lay awake wondering if there were things about David's past that could still reach into their future. The next morning, David's lawyer called with news. It's not about David, Richard explained during a conference call. Agent Chen is investigating the Torino family. They think David might have information about recent activities. What kind of information? Anna asked. David and Richard exchanged glances. The kind that could get people killed, David said bluntly. David gave up everything he knew as part of his exit agreement, Richard continued. But the FBI doesn't know that. They think he's holding back. So what happens now? Now I explain to Agent Chen that David Romano is a reformed businessman with no current knowledge of criminal activities, Richard said. And I make it very clear that any harassment of his family will result in legal action. That afternoon, Agent Chen called Anna directly. Miss Martinez, I want you to understand something. Men like David Romano don't change. They just get better at hiding what they are. Agent Chen, my lawyer, your lawyer can't protect you from what's coming. David Romano has made enemies. Powerful enemies who don't care about your children or your feelings. Anna felt sick. What are you talking about? 3 days ago, Vincent Torino put a contract out on David. $500,000 to anyone who can find him and his family. The phone slipped from Anna's numb fingers. When David found her an hour later, Anna was sitting in their bedroom staring at the wall. Anna? What happened? She told him about Agent Chen's call, about the contract, about the $500,000 on their heads. David sat heavily beside her. Vincent Torino. Who is he? Someone I helped put in prison. Someone who blames me for his son's death. David's voice was flat. Someone who will never stop looking for revenge. How long have you known about this? David was quiet for too long. How long, David? 2 weeks. Maybe 3. Anna stared at him. You've known for 3 weeks that someone put a contract out on us, and you didn't tell me. I was handling it. By lying to me? By pretending everything was fine while someone was planning to kill our children? Anna stood up, pacing to the window. David, we talked about this. About honesty. About trust. Anna, I didn't want to scare you. I'm not scared, David. I'm furious. Anna turned to face him. Do you have any idea what it's like to find out from a federal agent that your family is in danger? To realize that the man you're planning to marry still thinks he needs to protect you from the truth? David stood up too, reaching for her. Anna, please. No. Anna stepped back. Don't touch me. Don't try to fix this with promises and explanations. Then what do you want me to do? Anna looked at him. This man she loved, who still couldn't stop trying to shield her from his world. I want you to tell me everything. Right now. No more protecting me from scary truths. If we're going to do this, if we're going to be a family, then I need to know what we're facing. David nodded slowly. Everything. Everything. And for the next 2 hours, David told her about Vincent Torino, about the contract, about the security measures he'd put in place, about the plan he and his former associates had developed to neutralize the threat. When he finished, Anna was quiet for a long time. Anna? David's voice was uncertain. Thank you, she said finally, for telling me the truth. Are you still angry? Anna considered this. Yes, but I'm also relieved, because now we can face this together. Together? Anna took his hands. David, I'm not running. Not from Torino, not from your past, not from the complicated reality of loving you. But I need you to promise me something. Anything. No more secrets. No more protecting me from information I need to keep our family safe. From now on, we're partners in everything. David kissed her hands. Partners in everything. Good. Anna smiled for the first time all day. Now tell me about this plan to neutralize Vincent Torino. The plan was elegantly simple in its brutality. Vincent Torino would be released from federal prison in 2 days for a medical emergency. Actually a fabricated heart condition that David's contacts had arranged. During the transport to the hospital, the vehicle would be intercepted by men loyal to David's former partners, men who had their own reasons for wanting Torino dead. It will look like a rival family settling old scores, David explained as they sat in his office late that night. Nothing connects back to me or us. Anna stared at the surveillance photos David had shown her. Vincent Torino at his sentencing 3 years ago, his son Michael's funeral, the prison intake photo. A man consumed by hatred and revenge. And you're certain this will work? I'm certain Torino will be dead by Thursday. Anna flinched at David's matter-of-fact tone. This isn't just business for you, is it? What do you mean? Vincent Torino. This is personal. David's expression hardened. His son Michael was reckless, stupid. He got himself killed trying to prove something to Daddy. But Vincent blames me because I was the one who ordered the hit on the drug operation Michael was supposed to be running. You killed his son. I killed a liability who was going to get us all arrested or murdered. David's voice was cold. But yes, technically I'm responsible for Michael Torino's death. Anna felt something twist in her stomach. This was the man she'd fallen in love with, capable of ordering someone's death and living with it. Sometimes she forgot the person David had been before she knew him. Anna, David's voice gentled. You asked for the truth. I know, and I'm glad you told me. Anna looked at the photos again. But David, after Thursday, after Torino is dead, will it really be over? What do you mean? I mean, will there be someone else after him? Another enemy from your past, another threat to our family? David was quiet for a long moment. I don't know. That's not good enough. Anna, no, David. I need you to really think about this. Because if there's any chance that our children will spend their lives looking over their shoulders, if there's any possibility that loving you means Miguel and Isabella will never be truly safe, then I need to know now. David stood up, walked to the window overlooking the garden where their children had played that afternoon. There might be others, he said finally. Not many, and not as dangerous as Torino. But Anna, I can't promise you that my past will never touch our future. Anna joined him at the window. Then we need a different plan. What kind of different plan? The kind where we disappear completely. New names, new lives, somewhere far from New York and your world. David turned to look at her. You'd do that, give up everything here. I'd do anything to keep our family safe. Anna took his hand. But David, if we run together. All four of us. And we never look back. Isabella would lose her friends. Her school. Isabella would have Miguel and us. She'd adapt. Anna's voice was firm. Children are resilient. Adults with bounties on their heads are not. They spent the rest of the night planning. New identities that David's contacts could arrange. A house in Oregon that was already purchased under a shell corporation. Bank accounts established with enough money to start over comfortably. We leave Friday, David decided, after Torino is handled, but before anyone has time to regroup and come looking for us. The children? We tell them it's an adventure. A new start in a beautiful place where they can have a bigger house and go hiking and see the ocean. Anna smiled. Miguel would love that. Isabella too, she's always wanted a dog. Hard to have a dog in Manhattan. By dawn, they had a complete escape plan. By Thursday evening, Vincent Torino was dead, killed during what appeared to be a botched prison transport by unknown gunmen. It's done, David told Anna as they watched the news report. Torino is gone. And we're still leaving tomorrow? We're still leaving tomorrow. David pulled her close. Anna, I know this isn't the life you imagined when you said yes to marrying me. David. Anna looked up at him. You want to know what I imagined when I said yes? What? Growing old with you. Growing old. Watching Miguel and Isabella graduate and get married and have children of their own. Building something good and lasting and clean. Anna smiled. I don't care if we do that in Manhattan or Oregon or on the moon, as long as we do it together. The next morning, Anna packed their entire life into 4 suitcases and 3 cardboard boxes. The children, told they were moving to a house near the beach, were more excited than upset. Will I have my own room? Isabella asked. You'll both have your own rooms, David confirmed, and there's a big yard for playing. Can we get a dog now? Miguel asked hopefully. We can get a dog, Anna agreed, making both children cheer. As they drove out of Manhattan, Anna looked back at the city one time. Somewhere behind them were David's former associates, cleaning up the last traces of Vincent Torino's revenge. Somewhere behind them was Agent Chen, probably wondering where her star witness had disappeared to. But ahead of them was Oregon, and new names, and a life where David Romano and Ana Martinez ceased to exist. Any regrets? David asked, as they merged onto the highway. Anna looked in the rearview mirror at Miguel and Isabella, both asleep against each other, looking like the siblings they'd chosen to become. None, she said, meaning it. I love you, Anna. I love you too, David. Behind them, New York faded into the distance. Ahead of them, their future waited. 6 months later, Anna stood in the kitchen of their Oregon farmhouse, watching through the window as David taught Miguel and Isabella how to train their new puppy, a golden retriever named Captain, who had absolutely no discipline but infinite enthusiasm. "Mom!" Miguel called through the screen door. "Captain learned to sit. Come watch." Anna smiled, wiping her hands on a dish towel. David, who was now officially Daniel Martinez, having taken her last name along with his new identity, caught her eye and winked. Their new life was quieter than their old one. David worked as a construction consultant, using his knowledge of legitimate business and his natural leadership abilities. Anna managed the books for several local businesses, working from home most days. Isabella and Miguel attended the small elementary school in town, where they were known simply as the Martinez children, siblings who'd moved from back east with their parents. "Anna, sorry, Susan," their neighbor Mrs. Patterson called from the fence. "The kids are doing beautifully in the school play. You and Daniel must be so proud." Anna had gotten used to responding to Susan, just as David had adapted to being Daniel. The children had been the easiest. At 8 and 7, they'd adjusted to their new middle names becoming their first names, without much trouble. "We are proud," Anna agreed. "They've worked so hard on their lines." That evening, as they sat on the porch watching the children chase Captain through the yard, David took Anna's hand. "Happy?" he asked. "Completely." Anna leaned against his shoulder. "I never thought I could be this happy," David said quietly. "Anna, sometimes I wake up and can't believe this is real, that we actually pulled this off." They'd been Daniel and Susan Martinez for 6 months now. 6 months of school plays and little league games and neighborhood barbecues. 6 months of David coming home at 5:30 every day, of family dinners and bedtime stories and absolutely normal domestic bliss. "Daniel," Anna said, using his new name deliberately, "do you ever miss it? The power, the money, the excitement of your old life?" David considered this seriously. "I miss the feeling that I could solve any problem with a phone call, but I don't miss the feeling that those problems might get my family killed. No regrets about giving up being David Romano." "David Romano was a man who lost his first wife to his own choices," David said. "Daniel Martinez is a man who gets to grow old with the love of his life and watch his children become amazing adults. I'll take that trade every time." As if summoned by their conversation, Isabella ran up to the porch, grass stains on her jeans and joy on her face. "Dad, Miguel says we can camp in the backyard tonight if you set up the tent." "Can we? Please?" "If it's okay with Mom," David said, the same answer he'd been giving to such requests for months. "It's okay with Mom," Anna confirmed, "but only if you promise to actually sleep and not stay up all night telling scary stories." "We promise." Isabella raced back to Miguel to share the good news. Later, after they'd set up the tent and settled the children with sleeping bags and flashlights and strict instructions about bedtime, Anna and David sat on their porch swing, listening to muffled giggles from the backyard. "Anna," David's voice was thoughtful. "Yes?" "I want to marry you again." Anna looked at him in surprise. "What?" "I want to marry you as Daniel Martinez. I want Isabella and Miguel to be our witnesses. I want to make it official in this life, not just carry it over from the old one." Anna felt tears start. Daniel, he corrected gently. "David Romano is dead and buried, but Daniel Martinez wants to spend the rest of his life loving you." "Yes," Anna whispered. "Yes, I want to marry Daniel Martinez." They held their second wedding ceremony a month later in their backyard, with Isabella as maid of honor, Miguel as best man, and Mrs. Patterson as their only other witness. Anna wore a simple white dress she'd bought in town. David wore the navy suit he'd purchased for school events, and both children wore the biggest smiles Anna had ever seen. "Do you, Daniel Martinez, take Susan Martinez to be your wife?" asked the justice of the peace they'd found in Portland. "I do," David said, his voice strong and sure. "Do you, Susan Martinez, take Daniel Martinez to be your husband?" "I do," Anna replied, meaning it even more than she had the first time. When they kissed, Isabella and Miguel cheered loud enough to wake Captain, who barked his approval from the audience. That night, after the children were asleep and the wedding dishes were cleaned, Anna and Daniel sat in their bedroom looking at their new wedding rings. "Mrs. Martinez," Daniel said, testing the name. "Mr. Martinez," Anna replied, laughing. "I love you, Anna. I love you too, Daniel." Outside, Oregon rain began to fall gently on their roof, on their garden, on the life they'd built from the ashes of their past. Somewhere far away, David Romano was a memory, a dangerous man who'd made dangerous choices and paid the price for love. But here in their farmhouse bedroom with their children safe down the hall and their future stretching ahead of them, Daniel and Ana Martinez were simply two people who'd found their way home to each other, and that was enough. That was everything.